My mother died when I was just 4 years old. And my father remarried to someone I barely knew. I still remember that day like it was yesterday. I was just a young girl, sitting quietly in my small room, when suddenly I heard a loud crash outside. My heart raced as I looked out the window and saw chaos. My father had just been hit by a car. I ran outside in panic, screaming. Time froze as I saw him fall to the ground, helpless. I shook him, begged him to wake up, but he didn't move. Tears flooded my eyes as I realized I had lost the only person who loved me unconditionally. That moment shattered my world. I felt so alone, so helpless. Everything changed after that, my life, my future, my hope. I didn't know then, but that tragedy would shape everything I would go through next. It was the beginning of a long, painful journey. The pain of losing someone you love is terrible, but what's worse is feeling like no one cares. This is my story of survival, injustice, and finding strength when everything seems lost. After my father's death, life was no longer the same. My stepmother, who I once thought would help me, turned into someone I feared. She treated me like I was invisible, giving me all the worst tasks, blaming me for everything that went wrong. I was just a kid, trying to survive each day, but she made it impossible. My stepsister copied her cruelty, laughing at me and pushing me to the edge. I learned to hide my pain, to keep going even when I felt broken inside. Every day felt like a battle, tasks, insults, neglect. I wish someone would see what I was going through, but everyone looked the other way. I thought maybe if I worked harder, I could earn some kindness. But no matter how much I tried, it was never enough. I just wanted to be loved, to be safe. Instead, I was trapped in a nightmare, feeling more alone than ever. Still, deep inside, I held on to a small spark of hope. Maybe someday, things would get better. Maybe I could find a way out. Everyone believed I'd be better off with her, my only family left. But I soon learned that was not true. My stepmother hated me. She had her own daughter, Maria, who was treated like a princess, while I was made to work like a slave. She called me a burden, a mistake, something she wished she could forget. She never enrolled me in school, saying I was too busy with tasks. Our house became a prison, with her yelling and calling me anytime she wanted something. One day, I ran up the stairs to answer it and lost my balance. I fell, bruising my legs, but she didn't care. She only scolded me, telling me to finish my tasks. I saw her eyes, full of disdain, and I wondered, why was life so unfair? Why was I always the one blamed, always the one suffering? I just wanted to escape, to find a place where I belonged. My life took a turn for the worse when she traveled, leaving her daughter Maria in charge. That girl, Maria, was mean and greedy. She took pleasure in making my life miserable. She added her own cruel rules to my tasks, mopped the house twice, washed every curtain, scrubbed the toilets, and she followed me everywhere, mocking me. If I sat to breathe, she'd yell loudly, yelling at me to walk. I was exhausted, my body aching from all the cleaning. One day, she slapped me so hard I almost fell. I was trembling, but not from fear, I was angry. I had been beaten, insulted, and ignored for years. Something inside snapped. I grabbed her shoulders, ready to fight back, but I stopped myself. I wanted to scream, to cry, to run away. But I couldn't. The pain was too deep. I just stood there, trembling, feeling helpless. I wished I could disappear, to escape her cruelty, but I knew I had to find a way to survive. That night, I couldn't sleep. The house was so quiet, but my mind was loud with fear and anger. I kept thinking about what Maria said and did. I knew I shouldn't have spoken those terrible words, but they slipped out. I wished she would die. It was just words, broken and angry words. Still, I felt terrible. I knew I was in trouble. When morning came, I decided to apologize, to fix what I had said. I knocked on her door, but there was no answer. I pushed it open, and I froze. Maria was lying there, lifeless. Her eyes were closed, her face peaceful, but I knew she was gone. I was trembling, I couldn't breathe. I kept saying, I didn't mean it, tears streaming down my face. How could I have wished her dead? I felt so guilty and scared. I didn't understand how my words could have caused this. I was lost in a sea of regret. My world was crumbling, and I didn't know what to do next. I didn't mean it, I said repeatedly, tears pouring down my eyes as my stepmother walked in. Suddenly, everything changed. My stepmother burst into the room, screaming at me. She said I did something terrible. Neighbors gathered, whispering, pointing fingers. I just stood there, shaking. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. They called me a murderer, saying I wished her dead yesterday. I tried to explain, but no one listened. They thought I was evil, a wicked girl who murdered her own cousin. I felt like I was drowning. My eyes swollen from crying, my heart shattered. Why was everyone blaming me? I was just a girl, hurting inside from everything I'd been through. I couldn't understand how my words had caused all this chaos. The police arrived, and they took me away in handcuffs. I was so confused. I didn't know what to say or do. All I knew was I was innocent. But nobody believed me. My life was suddenly a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. In that cold prison cell, I felt so alone. I was just a teenager at the age of 16, surrounded by criminals who didn't care about me. I was the youngest and the most fragile. I spent days wondering why this was happening to me. One woman, Abimbala, changed everything. She was fierce and calm, and she saw I was broken. She stepped in to protect me when others tried to bully me. She told me no one would hurt me as long as she was there. I felt a strange sense of safety for the first time in a long while. I told her my story, about my family, the loss, the pain, and how I was wrongly accused. She listened carefully, her eyes full of quiet anger. She told me I didn't deserve to be here, that I was being punished for surviving. Her words made me feel understood and less alone. I realized I wasn't just a victim, I was a fighter. Someone cared enough to stand by me, even in this dark place. Abimbala was no ordinary woman. She carried her own pain, her own scars. She told me she once had a terrible past, one she kept hidden. Her father, a powerful man, tried to hurt her daughter the same way he hurt her. She fought back, killed her father, and turned herself in. She didn't regret it because she knew she had protected her child. Listening to her, I saw how pain could turn into strength. She told me I had to stay strong because the truth always finds a way out. She promised to help me, to fight for my innocence, and to make sure my story was heard. She said I wasn't alone anymore. That night, I finally felt hope. Someone believed in me. Someone was fighting for me. I realized I had a voice, and I was not going to give up. My journey was just beginning. Abimbala used her connections and her courage to gather evidence. She found out that Maria had been sneaking out of her house, high on drugs, before her death. Someone had dropped her off home that night, looking wasted. The autopsy proved she overdosed, no violence, no struggle, just drugs. The police finally saw the truth. The messages on her phone, the witness reports, everything pointed to a different story. I was innocent all along. But the damage was done. My name was blackened, my reputation shattered. I was in prison, fighting for my life, while Noor, my aunt, had lied to cover secrets. The court finally dismissed the charges. I was free, but the scars stayed. I was broken, but I was also stronger. I learned that sometimes, you have to fight for what's right, even when everyone else gives up. My story was proof that truth always comes out, no matter how dark the night. When I finally stepped out of that cold prison gate, everything felt different. I was finally free, but I carried so much pain. Abimbala met me outside, her eyes full of compassion. She told me I deserved a new beginning. She even included me in her will, leaving me property and money, not because I owed her, but because she believed I could rebuild my life. I had a new family now, Jennifer, her daughter, and a future I never imagined possible. I promised myself I wouldn't let my past define me. I enrolled in school, eager to learn and grow. I moved into a beautiful house, with my own room and a chance to start over. For the first time, I had hope. I was determined to give Jennifer a better life and to prove that even in darkness, light can shine. My journey wasn't over, but I knew I was stronger now. I would fight for my future, no matter what. After I was released, my life started to change, but the shadows of my past still haunted me. One night, I received a call from a lawyer. He told me that new evidence had surfaced, something that could finally clear my name forever. A neighbor's son, too scared before, had come forward. He said he saw Maria sneaking out with a drug dealer the night she died. The dealer was known in the neighborhood for peddling pills and alcohol. The autopsy confirmed that Maria overdosed on drugs, not because of me. The court documents proved she was on drugs that night, and she was dropped off home high and wasted. My heart raced with hope. Could this be the truth that sets me free? I realized I had been fighting not just for justice, but for my dignity. Slowly, the pieces of the puzzle fit together, and I saw the power of truth. I knew this was my chance to finally be free from the lies. The fight was not over, but I felt stronger. I was finally about to uncover the real story behind her death. With the new evidence, my lawyer pushed hard in court. We demanded a new investigation and an autopsy. The results confirmed what the neighbor's son said: Maria had died from a drug overdose, not because I wished her harm. The toxicology report showed pills and alcohol in her system, dangerous amounts that could shut down her body. It was shocking to think I had been accused and imprisoned for something I didn't do. My stepmother's lies and cover-up had almost destroyed me. Now, the truth was finally breaking free. The court dismissed all charges, and I was declared innocent. But the scars of those months lingered. I looked around and saw how much damage had been done: my reputation, my trust in people, my belief in justice. Still, I knew I had to keep fighting. I had learned that truth always finds a way. I was finally free, but my journey to heal and rebuild was just beginning. When I left the courtroom, I felt a strange mix of relief and pain. I was finally free, but my mind was full of memories I wished I could forget. Abimbala was waiting for me, her eyes full of kindness. She told me I deserved a new start. She had left me a lot of her property and money, not out of obligation, but because she believed I could rise above everything. I promised myself I wouldn't let my past define me. I wanted to give Jennifer a better life, a childhood filled with love and hope. I enrolled in school, eager to learn and grow. I moved into a big house, where I finally had my own space and freedom. I felt hope for the first time in years. My pain had not disappeared, but I was determined to fight for my future. I wanted to prove that even in the darkest moments, there's a light waiting to shine. I told myself I would never give up. My story wasn't over, it was just the beginning of a new chapter. Every day, I worked hard to rebuild my life. I studied, made new friends, and started to trust again. Jennifer was my greatest joy, her bright smile made everything worth fighting for. We moved into a beautiful mansion, one Abimbala had left for us. For the first time, I had my own room, my own bed, my own future. I knew I had to stay strong for her. I wanted her to grow up knowing she was loved and protected. I kept working hard, not just for me, but for us. I promised to give her the childhood I never had. We went to good schools, and I made sure she learned everything she needed to succeed. Slowly, I felt the weight of my past lifting. I knew I couldn't erase what happened, but I could make a better life for us. I realized that fighting for justice and truth was the only way to find peace. No matter how dark the past was, hope was always waiting at the end of the tunnel. While I was rebuilding my life, my stepmother's world was falling apart. When I walked out free, the media caught wind of the truth. Reports spread fast. She had lied, covered up her daughter's drug addiction, and tried to destroy me to hide her secrets. Neighbors who once defended her now turned their backs. She was exposed for her cruelty and lies. Her house, once full of laughter and commands, was now cold and empty. She spent her nights crying alone, clutching a picture of her daughter Maria. The shame and regret ate her up, but it was too late to fix what she had done. I didn't want her to suffer, but I knew she had lost her chance at redemption. I had forgiven her in my heart, but I couldn't forget what she had done. Sometimes, truth can't be hidden forever. I learned that justice might be delayed, but it will always find its way. Her guilt haunted her, and I moved on, stronger than ever. My story taught me something very important. Be kind to people, especially those hurting inside. Never judge someone without knowing their pain. My stepmother thought she could hide her secrets forever, but the truth always surfaces. I learned that forgiveness is powerful, but regret is bitter. It's better to choose love and honesty than cruelty and lies. Life is unpredictable. People who seem weak can become strong, and those who seem powerful can fall. My pain became my strength. I found hope in the darkest places. I realized that our choices define us, not what others say. I want young people to understand that no matter how hard life gets, you can rise again. Stand for what is right. Fight for your truth. Because in the end, your courage and honesty will be your greatest weapons. This is my story, but it's also a lesson for all of us to choose love, truth, and justice. As I sit here now, reflecting on everything, I promise myself I won't let my past haunt me forever. I've been through so much pain, but I've also learned to forgive, to heal, and to hope. I want to protect Jennifer from the same pain I endured. I've enrolled her in a good school, and I make sure she knows she's loved. She's bright, curious, and full of life. I tell her stories of resilience and strength, so she grows up knowing she can overcome anything. I want her to be proud of who she is and never be afraid to speak her truth. I've come a long way from that dark day when everything changed. I know life will still have challenges, but I'm ready. I found my voice, my purpose, and my hope. No matter what, I will keep fighting for a better tomorrow, for me, for Jennifer, and for everyone who needs to believe that justice and love can overcome even the deepest pain. Now, I see how hope is more powerful than fear. Even after everything I've been through, I refuse to give up. I know that pain and injustice can try to break us, but they can also make us stronger. I want to tell everyone out there who feels broken inside, your pain does not define you. You have the power to heal, to forgive, and to rebuild. My journey was hard, but it taught me that no matter how dark the night is, the dawn will come. I want young people to believe in themselves, to stand up for what is right, and to never lose hope. There are days when everything feels impossible, but those are the days when your strength shines brightest. Keep fighting, keep dreaming, and never forget that you are stronger than your pain. Your story isn't over. You can still write a new chapter filled with hope and love. Today, I stand here not just as a survivor, but as someone who has learned the true meaning of strength. I've forgiven those who hurt me, and I've found love in unexpected places. My past will always be part of me, but I refuse to let it control my future. I want to inspire others to be brave, to speak their truth, and to believe in justice. Jennifer and I now live happily, and I'm determined to give her everything I never had. I want her to see that even in the darkest moments, there's always a spark of hope. I want young people to understand that their voice matters, and they can change their stories. Life isn't about falling down, it's about getting up again and fighting for what's right. My story is proof that no matter how hard life gets, we can find light and love. Never forget, you are capable of greatness. This is my story, but it's also a message for everyone. Be kind, be honest, and stand up for what's right. Never underestimate the pain someone is hiding inside. Life can be cruel, but hope and truth are stronger. Forgiveness is powerful, and justice always finds a way. We all have the power to change our lives, no matter how dark things seem. I hope my story inspires you to be brave, to fight for justice, and to love even in the hardest times. Remember, your choices define you. Choose love. Choose the truth. And never give up. Because in the end, the greatest victory is overcoming your pain and coming out stronger. Your story isn't finished, write it with courage, hope, and kindness. The best is yet to come. The end. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Hit the notification bell to stay updated. Your support means everything to us.